I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. You're listening to the Hot AF Show. I'm Mike Smith. As I always say, I appreciate you joining me. The podcast is growing, and all I can do is thank the listeners for telling your friends, your enemies, I don't care. I keep getting these notifications that, hey, you now have this many downloads. So whatever, it's cool. I just want to keep growing it, get the message out, because all the censored freaking media that's out there. This is episode 12. By the way, it is hot as fuck out here. So yesterday, my wife went to, yesterday evening, my wife went to this school board meeting. Talk about it over this podcast, but I was home with the kids, and I went out to cook hot dogs on the grill, and I take the cover off of the Weber, and the freaking thing was 300-ish degrees. I take the cover off. I don't light it. It's 300 freaking degrees. But then I light it, and about 60 seconds later, it registers the high is 600. It's past the 600. Arrow is way past the freaking 600. I should have just saved the propane and, scrubbed it off and put the hot dogs on and called it a day. Yeah, I cooked hot dogs yesterday for the family, for the kids, because I already won the Father of the Year award, you haters. Eat it. So this episode is gonna it's gonna piggyback on, I don't know, whatever the other one was a couple ago about masks, face panties, and then one of the earlier episodes about going back to school with COVID. So my wife is a pediatric neuropsych nurse that does extensive research, has been involved in lots of studies, lots of even state-sponsored studies, and ran a surgery center at one point, and obviously dealt with masks, medical grade masks. But over the past few years, she's gotten very deep into neuropsychology for school-aged children, the stage of life that we're in, and the brain and the body and how all that integrates and is supposed to work, and how to correct it when there's learning challenges or self-regulation issues, all that kind of stuff. And so she founded a company, movementmatters.com. There's a plug. I wonder if it'll be my first sponsor. That would be great. Movement Matters, where we can awaken your potential. Brought to you by the Hot AF Show. I don't know how well that would go by with all the straight and arrow people. By the way, if you haven't listened to a Hot AF Show before, there are no freaking filters here. There's a few rules, and that is I might offend you. I really don't care. I am very politically incorrect, and I'm highly ADD, so I might jump around, jump up, jump up, but get down. Okay, fuck. Anyway, so my wife was at this Sarasota county school board meeting yesterday, And prior to that, this was several weeks back, she had messaged one of the elected officials. I'm going to call her out, Shirley Brown, and had questions regarding these masks for the kids that they're mandating when they were going through the whole, do we do virtual school and what's that going to look like versus, traditional in-person school and all the COVID bullshit and whatever. And I believe she, had referenced, hey, the masks, through research, that this isn't good for the kids. And Shirley Brown was above or more advanced than everyone else in that she did her own research, she said, creating her own mask that was capable of filtering the viruses. And I guess she's doing a better job than, I don't know, all of the medical device companies, the mask manufacturers. Doubt it. So yesterday at this county school board meeting, my wife went because she's pissed. Because she knows that, the science behind it, what it's doing to our kids. And I love teachers, especially the good ones. But a lot of them are fucking idiots. They have no clue what they're doing and talking about in terms of psychology and neurology and the true definition of how you teach someone and how kids learn. The ones that do, you're angels. Anyway, so Shirley, I guess, sees my wife there and looks around the room, and there's reporters and whatever. I think the reporters from news organizations or media outlets that's their candidate. So she's got influence over these news reporters, and then ultimately what the media presents. Just like at the national level, it's here locally. She makes the comment, there are some people here tonight that are ill-informed. You don't have to quote them. Then seconds later, when the meeting starts, the superintendent tells the audience and reminds the board that their civility theme is respect. Respect people's opinion, respect people's views, respect each other. But Shirley Brown, as a typical elected official, acts just moments earlier, decides to not respect certain people that are, quote, ill-informed. And I would bet dimes to dollars, hell, more than that, that some people in the audience there were much well informed compared to ill-informed than Shirley Brown. Here's what she said. I don't want to talk about rights, conspiracy theories, or politics. I want to talk about learning environment. The learning environment that you are responsible for creating. A learning environment that is backed by science. We all know that a successful learning environment includes social interaction, positive reinforcement, engaged teachers, collaboration, movement, and connection. These are the things that help kids actually learn. Instead, you, as a school board, have voted to give parents two options. One, where children attend school and at all times have to have their, and those of their teachers, faces covered. And the other, where children are stuck in front of a computer all day, watching a teacher with their face covered. So let's address what this is doing to their learning. First of all, Our brains are made to connect with other brains. This is how we learn and how we grow. In fact, when we are looking at someone else subconsciously, our brain is evaluating their voice tone, facial expression, and emotions. When this connection occurs, the right side of a child's brain lights up like Christmas morning, or Hanukkah for the Jewish folks, or Kwanzaa for the, I guess, black people that celebrate Kwanzaa. Whatever, getting off topic. This side of the brain is responsible for things like their ability to regulate, process sensory information, and emotional regulation. When this is covered up, their brains are not able to work properly. Imagine that. In addition to the masks, we are distancing them from other students and teachers as well. If a child has a medical reason to wear a shield, like those clear freaking face shields, whatever, we are further separating them from others by requiring a 6-foot clearance at all times. This takes a socially and medically vulnerable child and creates even more trauma. Let's talk about trauma. Do you know what it does to the brain? Small acts of trauma can even be more damaging than one horrific event. Trauma has an effect on regulation, on a child's memory, as the hippocampus actually has shown evidence of shrinkage in children exposed to trauma. Also, the amygdala, which is involved in the fight or flight response, is more active in trauma victims. Right now, we have all these children going through collective trauma. And then you are mandating that their faces be covered, which takes away their brain's process to regulate. What are we doing to their brains at the expense of their bodies? The masks you have mandated have a 15 to 26% effectiveness filtering particles the size of the virus. So any child wearing one of those masks has up to an 85% chance of the masks not being effective. 85% chance. It's not going to work. Yet, the same child has a 100% chance of having their learning processes in their brain negatively affected by wearing a mask in school. All of this, when over the last 7 days, we locally here have an average positivity rate of less than 2.5%. Let's also not forget that you still have children going to lunch, sitting down where they eat together, many with their fingers and touch everything, and they're not wearing masks. But you got to walk through the cafeteria with your freaking mask on, just like at a restaurant. You got to walk through the restaurant next to the tables with your mask on, but then you sit down, I can take it off. By the way, I don't do that shit because no more fucking wearing masks for me. Zero, never, nowhere. Unless I'm sick in an infectious control environment like a hospital and I'm wearing a medical grade mask, not a freaking face panty that you buy at Target, or the shithole Walmart, or Amazon, where it comes from China. It does. It comes from China. Where am I? Right here. So does the coronavirus take lunch breaks too? I am in no way suggesting that children should wear masks to lunch. But the point is, if you have them take it off throughout the day and then put it back on, you're actually increasing the potential that any type of virus or bacteria is now introduced to the child from their mask. So what if the child doesn't get COVID-19, but gets MRSA, staph, or something else from that process? I mean, we're talking about much more harmful illnesses for kids. Kidding me? MRSA and staph infection? Fuck. Yes, you are responsible for keeping children safe at school, but I ask you, is this safe? Is this safe for their brain, for their social, emotional health, for their future? What number of children will you be responsible for emotionally, socially, and neurologically damaging because of this? There is no data on children spending all day in a mask. Because I would be shocked if there was an IRB board how much this could negatively affect their brains and bodies. You may think that you are protecting children from the virus, but instead, you are intentionally hurting them psychologically and potentially physically as well. We are not looking at if an average mask filtration of 20%, by the way, 20% is pretty generous. We need to ask ourselves if an average mask filtration of 20% is worth 100%. That's a lock. A 100% chance of damage to their academics, social, emotional, and psychological health. Please, please, please reconsider this ridiculous mask mandate for these kids. Absolutely encourage hand washing, cleaning, distancing, and other safe and proven health practices. But stop playing guinea pig science with these children and take off the masks. All the mask studies, by the way, that's the end of the quote. All the mask studies, most people don't know this, but all the studies come from healthcare providers, healthcare facilities, those types of environments where they, one, are trained how to wear a mask or fit a mask, how to wash it if they're, if they're washable. Most of them aren't. I mean, hell, I think a surgeon has to change their mask like every 3 hours or something if they're in surgery. And obviously before, hell, even doctors, like before they see any patient, they're taking off their mask, putting a new one on, gloves, washing, all that kind of whatever. That's where the data's coming from. There's no fucking study on kids wearing masks. I believe there was a study that they started with monkeys and they quit the study and they said they'd never do it again because of how freaking horrible it was to monkeys. So yeah, the studies, they're in the healthcare provider environment, not at schools. I think it's like silent damage because we don't know, like what's the effect going to be 2 years from now? You got a third grader. I've got a third grader. So what's going to happen? Like put this freaking face panty, make him go throughout the day, all damn day with it on. But hey, he can take it off in the cafeteria once he sits down at his table. You can throw it on the table, I don't know, it's probably going to fall on the floor like a napkin. He's going to pick it up off the floor, put it back on his face, inhale all that shit that's in the mask. I was talking to a buddy the other day and it's like, hey, wait till the kids start saying, hey, man, I really like your mask. It's cool. You want to trade for mine? Yeah, man, yours is awesome. Let's trade. So they trade masks and they start wearing them, because, hey, this guy's got a cool Batman, logo on his. And I traded him for a Black Panther one. Whatever. By the way, it's hilarious. My kids, ever since they were little, they started getting into like the superheroes and whatever. I referred to them that, hey, I was the Hulk, but I retired. So like, whatever, Dad. It's like, no, I was the Hulk, but I'm retired. They're like, okay, could you smash this house? I said, yeah. Okay, why don't you do it? I was like, no, it's my house. I'm not going to smash it, freaking break it. Could you pick up that car? I was like, yeah, would do it. I was like, no, I retired. Whatever, Dad, you're a liar. I was like, whatever. No, I mean, I was the Hulk. And still to this day, I tell. And I was having an argument today with my middle son. He's like, so Dad, you were like the Hulk, right? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, what did, show me your doctorate degree. Because apparently the Hulk was a doctor. I don't fucking know. I watched like Rambo and Delta Force and Commando and stuff when I was a kid. I didn't watch freaking... I watched Lionheart, which is badass. And let's see, what was the other one? Thundercats. Maybe that is... Did I say Lionheart? Thundercats? Lionheart. Yeah, I watched Lionheart. That was badass. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme. Whatever, I'm getting off track. Again. So, in a healthcare world, like a nurse or physician or whatever, I mean, you can't provide any intervention unless you qualify for it. Did you break your leg? Okay, if you broke your leg, then we can do this. And after you break your leg and, we wait the time that it takes to heal a broken leg, and then we go through physical therapy, we can drop the physical therapy after you pass, this. It's steps for everything. I mean, hell, freaking martial arts, like, hey, you can't get your black belt until you test it. You pass the black belt test. But meanwhile, the schools, they're going to reevaluate this in their 30-day meeting, and going back, like, teachers, I love them, but they're not trained to evaluate screening for anxiety and depression, freaking hypoxia. It's like when you don't get the oxygen. I can't breathe when I'm wearing these freaking things. When I used to wear them. I'm not wearing them anymore, ever. The fact that there's so much risk for other, potentially much worse illnesses that are, like, put on freaking steroids because of wearing the masks. It's really sad. It's like horrifying, really, to think about. What's it going to be like in a couple of months from now, when it's like the flu season, and they don't get rid of these stupid ass masks? How many kids are going to be out and really hurt because maybe they wouldn't have caught the MRSA or gotten a staph infection or whatever if they weren't required to protect themselves with a 15% chance of protecting themselves from COVID-19. So you got all these risks without any way to measure the effectiveness, the side effects, or monitor, hey, what's the goal of being able to remove them? Yet we're going to have our kids wear these and let them be the guinea pigs for a science experiment. Today at breakfast, my wife and I go to breakfast when we drop the kids off at school, because we're privileged. And I took a picture. Two ladies sitting across from us. And this lady has her purse up against, resting on her chair, and she got her face panties hooked to her purse. And wouldn't you know, where's the mask? Well, it's resting on the ground. In fact, I'm going to pull this picture up, show the people on the YouTubes. I'll post it too. Let's see, here we do. Oh, shit, hang on. The light's not working. There we go, right there. Yeah, that. That is the mask on the freaking floor of the restaurant that people I mean, they turn it, right? They're walking. They're walking in dog shit. They're walking in, whatever. And that's transferred onto your floor. I mean, would you lick the floor? If there was a $100 bill on the floor, I wouldn't freaking lick it to pick it up. But she was oblivious to it. Like, drops the purse. There's the mask on the freaking floor. What's she going to do? She's going to pay her bill, put her mask on, probably walk to her car, get in her car, keep her mask on in the car, drive home, get out, wear her mask inside the house. Meanwhile, she's inhaling the shit that's on the floor. Awesome. So I hope and pray this scam, this freaking propaganda, going back to it's controlled by the media. And the media is in the pockets and vice versa of the politicians that are elected. And I want this story released and spun. Don't quote the ill-informed, the actually well-informed Shirley Brown. You know you're wrong, But hey, if you're fabricated mask out of your house with no science or engineering or whatever, and trials and approvals have happened, but all of a sudden you're able to create a mask that can have a more filtration impact than the mask creators, I guess you'll be welcomed into the billionaire club. But I'm calling bullshit on it. So yeah. Meanwhile, we're at the school today and the principal comes up to my wife and says, I agreed with everything that you said last night. It was a great speech. Unfortunately, I'm not able to voice my opinion based on my position, which I can respect. So we'll see. This is locally in Florida. I wonder what it's like. I don't give a shit about Portland or freaking Seattle or CHOP. That's not still around. But any of these Democrat-run freaking cities with all this protesting and fighting, look at the amount of freaking Democrat-run areas compared to a conservative Republican run territories. And look at the difference in the freaking hate and the violence and the fires and the burning and the assaults. It's like not even close. In fact, I don't even know of one state even that's run by Republicans that's dealing with this crap. And I know that the elected officials on the school board are supposed to be nonpartisan, but guarantee you that Shirley Brown is way wacko left. But look at her hometown of Chicago. Well, I spent enough time ranting, but I'm going to end this one by saying masks, in case you didn't know, they're bullshit. It's propaganda. There's no studies outside of a healthcare environment with healthcare providers that are trained to properly fit them and wear them, not get some freaking mask that you buy at Walmart or damn China and just throw it on your face, not wash it, or sanitize it appropriately. Have your kids, dirty fingers, messing with it, manipulating it, throwing it on the ground when you're having breakfast. You think that lady at breakfast today knew that? Fuck no. She's going to pick up her purse, put it right, and then guess what? She's going to get sick with something else. It's not going to be COVID-19. And she's going to spread that to someone else. Damn. It's a fucked up world we're living in. I got to go. Hey, until the next time, enjoy your freedom. God bless America. Take care.